So this is the latest horror film from new director Tilman Singer, who also wrote the film. He has done some TV and some smaller films, short films, and this is his first kind of big full length feature. This starts Hunter Schafer as Gretchen, who is moving to the Bavarian Alps in Germany with her family, with her mother and father, who are architects and are going to be building this resort out, or kind of improving this existing resort, kind of in the middle of nowhere. We arrive and meet Dan Stevens as Herr Koenig, who's a scientist slash owner of all this stuff, who's really creepy and not real trustworthy at all. There's a lot of strained family dynamics. Gretchen's mother and father are divorced parents who have been remarried. She has a half sister named Alma, who is mute and kind of weird, and who they don't get along with at all. So she's very strained. She's 17, 18. She's about to be full-fledged adult, ready to get out of the house. She misses her mom from back in the States, struggling with the family. When they move in, she gets a job, or they employ her at the hotel, and the whole thing's really creepy. It does a very good job of being a little bit like The Shining, where in this isolated hotel in the Bavarian Alps, there's no one up there. Dan Stevens' character very menacingly says, like, at 10 o'clock, like, be sure you're home by 10 o'clock, shut down. We know there's more going on here. We've seen from the trailer there's some science going on that may not be up to par. We don't really get a lot of answers. There's a lot of mood. There's a lot of creepiness. We've seen lots of pictures with Hunter Schafer, who severely injured, head wrapped, arm in a cast, but she's armed with her trusty butterfly knife, trying to uncover the mystery that's going on up here. So kind of a little complicated. Zach, what did you think?
Dude, Cuckoo rocks. I'm so glad we got to watch this for this show. I've heard a lot of people be like, it's weird. It didn't get me. I thought it was too simple and I figured it out. No. You got it all wrong. This is a genre fest. All right. It is a delight. People have called it Italian horror inspired. People have said it's like a slasher thriller. Like, I think Cuckoo's a ton of fun, dude. I had so much fun with this movie. And I think one of the things I like so much about it is that it is a wildly efficient feature that's probably overstuffed. It probably has like 2 or 3 too many characters. It's a little too complicated, but it moves very efficiently. Tilman Singer's like direction and writing, specifically, like I think the way they storyboarded this feature and then the way they chopped up in the editing room, makes for a very fast moving plot. Like, we are at this resort for, I assume, at least a week, like maybe 2. Like things move pretty quick. And I like the way that the mystery very quickly like unravels on spools in front of our heroine, and how they have to try to figure out, make sense of it and solve it and escape with their life. I love the way our heroine is just beat down over the course of the feature. Gretchen
From the beginning.
Dude, just getting beat to a pulp. I love the costume design. I like how bright red the blood is. Like, Cuckoo rocks, dude. I had a ton of fun watching this movie. What do you think?
So let's see. Let's start kind of just with vibes. The vibe of this really worked for me. I think it's filmed on 35 millimeter because it's got that grainy look that it almost feels like an 80s movie. It's not because she has a smartphone, but if it weren't for that, I might not really be able to place this. But again, we have this family strain going on, not getting along with the parents. And we're at this weird isolated resort. There's no other kids around. There's a few adults. Everyone's really creepy. We get lots of shots like at the woods. Again, they getting that Shining vibe. Empty hotel. No one checking in. And definitely some references to that as well. Dan Stevens doing this really good German accent. Really puts it on. He's up to no good from the beginning. He's like, might as well has a name tag that says Mr. Bad Guy on it. But he's a delight. And we know that, not all are what they seem, and there's people going on, but there's also some strong themes. It's definitely about like women's rights, which I'm going to get more specific in because that's kind of spoiler, but there's definitely a lot of metaphors to go along with it as well. At one point I thought we were kind of maybe in a time travel movie or like time a sci-fi thing, which is good misdirection because it turns out to be something not quite that. But I was just kind of glued to it the whole time.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching Cuckoo, so let's dig into it. I think you're right. Dan Stevens is a ton of fun in this movie. And like, I've liked Dan Stevens in the past, but walking out of this, I'm like, dude, we got to start talking about this guy in a different caliber of actor. Like Godzilla v. Kong, a bright spot in a cast that's otherwise very poorly used in that movie. Like all the human stuff doesn't really work. He's a lot of fun in it anyway. He's in Abigail, which we didn't cover on this show, but I hear is excellent in directing To a Radio Silence. I hear he's wonderful in that. He's in this movie and he's great. Like just like his presence on screen just shows up. He just seems so odd. He's got this thick accent that he works so good. Like Dan Stevens rocks, and he's great opposite Hunter Schafer, who is an instant star. I didn't watch Euphoria. I know they were in Euphoria. I haven't really seen that. They were briefly in Kinds of Kindness in a stupefying role, in my opinion. This is something entirely different. It is entirely unique. Gretchen is such a cool protagonist, like fascinating character, and plays great opposite her parents, Louis and Beth, played by Martin Sokas, who we saw recently in, God, he was in The Last Duel. He's like a knight. He's like one character in that movie.
Oh, okay.
And then Jessica Henwick, who I did not expect was in this movie. Her name's on the poster. Totally forgot. Delight to see Bugs from the Matrix Revolutions back, right? Revolutions? Reloaded? Resurrection. Excuse me. Matrix 4. Yes, Jessica Henwick is in this feature as well as Beth, the new mom. And then there's a newcomer, Mila Liu, plays Alma, who is Gretchen's younger sister. And the two of them do not get along great. Couldn't be more different, actually. Gretchen feels wildly isolated when they escape to this kind of resort. She's missing her friends. She's missing her family. She's missing her mom, of course, who is not currently in the picture. Like, all of these things make for Gretchen to be very emotionally deep. You get some genuine, like, crying scenes from Hunter Schafer, man. Like, deep. Like, just feels bad, going for it, digging deep, Sydney Sweeney kind of stuff, which is funny because she was also in Euphoria, which is all really, really great when things go horribly wrong and everything gets wildly bloody. And Gretchen turns out to be not only a character of emotional depth, but visceral ability. Gretchen has a butterfly knife that she swings around, and she'll snap off like a piece of wood and use it as a weapon. And that stuff rocks, dude. Like, it makes for a final girl that is so much more exciting than just like a screaming dish rag character, right? Like, it's somebody who's dynamic and is involved in things and is ready to murder if she's gotta. Like, great. Every time Gretchen picks up a weapon in this movie, I was so locked in. It's like the locked in meme. I was the dude sitting forward in the gaming chair. It's fantastic.
Exactly. One of the things that I think also works really well is that this is a big mystery, because it's like, what is going on? It's not like a slasher kind of horror. It's like, something's going on. You're given some clues. I'm trying to think of things we see in the trailer. We see people are suspiciously sick. Like, there's not a lot of staff around, but people are kind of sick a lot, which is, concerning. Again, it's empty. And so a lot of the fun is just her very slowly being suspicious of these clues, these abnormalities, making a couple of allies, trying to uncover the truth. And the more it unravels, the more kind of it draws you in, the more intriguing it becomes. So I thought that was a big success of the movie. And I was trying to guess the whole time. I was like, well, maybe it's this happening, man. No, maybe it's that happening. And but it's also not about you trying to guess the ending. It's a really fun journey, but also has a very engaging mystery.
Talking about Dan Stevens and mentioning Abigail, I remember hearing in a lot of reviews for that movie that it's a film that suffers from its own success, because Abigail, if you remember, the vampire child ballerina movie that came out just a couple months ago, they give away in the trailer that the child is a vampire. And the film doesn't do that. The film takes like 45 minutes to get to that. It's got the old problem, right? They shouldn't have told you up front that that was kind of the thing. They should have advertised it differently. They should have pivoted differently. I'm very pleased to tell you that Cuckoo does not have this problem. You don't know what's going on going in. You shouldn't know what's going on going in. We're not going to tell you what's going on going in. It is so much better for it. Andy's right. There's this really clever mechanic in editing and the way they've got the film put together that leads you kind of down a path of what you think may be happening. And it's good, man. It's really good, especially for a first feature, a big feature director. Tilman Singer writing and directing this does a really great job of like presenting this kind of unique mystery that is not that unique on its face, and I think is the reason some people have been kind of harsh on it coming out of the theater. Like, oh well, you could have figured it out, and I saw it coming. Nah, man, you got it all wrong. Like you were too busy looking for something that wasn't
There's
there,
no
or
way. Yeah, there's
yeah,
no way.
like oh man, people overthinking this thing. Like I think it's totally the wrong way to go. Like I love the look of it. I like the costume design is really tremendous. Whether it's Gretchen as she's slowly getting more beat over the feature and having this like blue windbreaker kind of thing, she's got slung over her half arm with this cast and the wrap around her head, or Dan Stevens has a couple of really great fits. Good God, he's got these sunglasses in the open. There's a couple other characters I want to talk about that aren't in the trailer, and I don't want to give away who they are. But like,
Yeah, it's tough. It's
solid
tough.
fits. I know, solid fits all around. Everybody looks good in this movie. Everybody acts good in this movie. Cuckoo's a lot of fun. I do think. I don't know if you had any thoughts about this. I do think it's edited a bit sharp, because there are some large leaps in time that I think are confusing at first. And I should mention, I do need to ask you, Andy, specifically after the show. There is one aspect of the ending I didn't understand, and I'm going to need you to explain to me.
Oh,
Did
okay,
you
okay.
find it at all confusing by the end? Do you feel like everything's wrapped up with the bow? I mean, where you at?
A little bit. I think I was able to follow it by the end of it, but I was a little. I was hanging on. I was hanging on, but just barely about what kind of the mystery once all is revealed, kind of how it all connects. It's definitely something that I think would benefit from a second viewing. Think it'll be really enjoyable knowing where it goes. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit hard to follow first time around.
Yeah, good villain design, good hero design. Like Cuckoo, dude, Cuckoo's a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to what Tilman Singer does next. I'm looking forward to what Hunter Schafer does next. Obviously, whatever Dan Stevens got going on, we'll probably see it. My man is having a banger year. Any other thoughts or recommendations, Andy?
I think I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Cuckoo?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot of fun with this. I was really looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint. We got a really creepy movie, big on vibes, isolated hotel, very much like The Shining. Hunter Schafer is gives an incredible performance as Gretchen, as this lonely teenager, kind of really yearning to leave and get out of the house, but also has to survive the horrors to come. Again, is beat up to a pulp throughout this movie, before things even get crazy, and has to survive in an injured state, which is really unique. So highly recommend.
Yep, same. Cuckoo rocks. From a German writer, German director. It is a different kind of horror. It has elements that are familiar, but are also uniquely different. It is something different from Blumhouse. It is something different from like the same generic horror I feel like we've been seeing all summer. It is exciting. It is fresh. It is new. It's cool, dude. Cuckoo rocks. You should totally go see Cuckoo in a theater if you can. If you could swing it. I don't think it's playing on any big screens because those will either be for Deadpool and Wolverine or Borderlands. But like if you have the means, go see it as soon as you can. You're probably going to have a great time. And that's our show. Good Lord. Episode 263 of Off Script. Already nearly behind us. Andy, what are we watching next week?
So this week, August 16th, we're looking at Alien Romulus, which is the new horror feature from Fede Alvarez, and features starring Kaylee Spaney, and newest entry into the Alien franchise. So we'll see what that's all about. We're also going to be taking a look at Jackpot, which is coming out on Amazon Prime on August 15th. And this stars Awkwafina and John Cena, where Awkwafina's character wins the lottery, but everyone's allowed to try and murder her for her ticket. And John Cena is sent to as her bodyguard to try to get her, from point A to point B to cash it. This looks like a lot of fun. It's all a little silly maybe, but it is on Amazon Prime, so if you have that, we're going to be giving that a watch. Some FYI releases: Twisters is on VOD, along with Fly Me to the Moon, the rom-com with Scarlett Johansson and not Josh Hartnett. Gambit is on Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. Yeah, right.
Is in that. That movie bombed, but that is, if you're looking for a rom-com, that is available on VOD as well. And upcoming in the next couple of weeks, we'll be taking a look at the Crow remake, and I don't think we're going to watch this, but Blink Twice is another Channing Tatum horror movie, which comes out in a couple of weeks. But Alien Romulus and Jackpot for next week.
Really came around on Romulus in the last couple months. The trailers look real good. And I'm an old Fede Alvarez fan, man. I like 2013 Evil Dead, so I think there's hopefully some real gas behind it. As for Jackpot, I'm real skeptical, but I'm trying to grow in the so bad it's good cinema genre, and I think it may be a good place to leverage that. It's a Paul Feig feature. We'll see. We'll cover it next week. But if you want to hear our reviews of Alien Romulus, you want to hear reviews of Jackpot, future reviews, The Crow, maybe that Blink Twice, maybe when it comes around. Best way to do that is subscribe to Off Script Film Review. Subscribe to the show, whether you're watching on YouTube where we post all our videos, full reviews and individual. Big things going on the YouTube channel. You should come check it out. Whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, you can follow us over there, all the usual social media places. Our audio listeners, of course, are on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia. Love you guys. Started with you guys. Won't stop with you guys. You can subscribe to us on those platforms as well, of course. You can check out the website, offscriptfilmreview.com. We've got extra interviews, additional content, and you can email us correspondence directly at mail@offscriptfilmreview.com. Right into the show. Tell us what you know. Tell us what you thought of the latest feature. Tell us if we should check out something we haven't seen before. Maybe we should revisit something. D23 thoughts. Whatever you got, we're excited to talk about it. From all of us at Off Script, the home of Bold Cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.